Now this video's on female strength training, but guys, there's some stuff in here for you too, even if it's just stuff like this, so stay with me. Now you guys know me now, so I'm going to try and lace another topic through this. And what could be better than sexism? Classically, sexism is defined as prejudice, stereotyping or discrimination on the basis of sex. Feminists add a power component to this equation though, and seem to think that equality equals the same. Rather than jumping headlong into the argument though, let's start with some common ground. Men and women are both bipedal animals, so the range of exercises that are suitable for them is going to be the same. There's no men or women exercises. If it works for Steve, it'll work for Eve. Let's just get that straight. Now let's take a traditional stereotype. Generally speaking, men are physically stronger than women. Now before I get a flood of female fingers tapping the keyboards with, well, I'm stronger than most of the guys in my gym. Yes, sweetheart. I said generally, not specifically. So any attitude or behaviour that comes out of that stereotype is therefore sexist, right? And in a world of equals where men and women are interchangeable, they can do the same thing in the same way, right? To suggest otherwise is discriminatory, right? Wrong. You see, by this definition, the weights room and strength training itself is sexist. Not the people in it, but the actual discs or equipment. If you could hear them talk, they're sitting around all day basically bad-mouthing women. Psst, you're not strong enough to lift me. Nice rack, love, but not as nice as mine. You want to stop at this end. Yeah, that's it. Pull me up between your thighs. Yeah, get right in there.
Yeah, and these weights are spurred on in this sexist propaganda by the pseudoscience that men have more testosterone than women.
No, idiot! That's not pseudoscience. That's real science.
Well, the body's not very PC, is it? It's 2016. We're striving for equality. I mean, they should be the same. Or men should reduce their testosterone levels.
Well, like you have. You want to slap, mate. Strength is primarily determined by testosterone, and women have less of it. Here's a very simplified, stereotypical and prejudicially sexist chart that I made. Check out the fact that if you want to get mad skills in either case, you're going to need to do them drugs. But a woman's going to have to supplement to get to the level that a guy could naturally reach. And a trained woman strength-wise is basically at the level of an untrained male. I'm sure feminists would think that this was all very, what's that word?
Problematic up in here.
So doesn't this mean that the act of getting strong, i.e. going from weak to strong, or from strong to stronger, is sexist? Well, it can be, but don't have to be. There are two paths to strength manned by two different guys. The guys don't really exist, it's just purely illustrative. And eye candy. Gotta keep the ladies happy. The first path is gaining myofibrillar hypertrophy and neural coordination, aka strength training. High intensity, low reps, medium sets. He's your bad boy. The second is gaining sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, aka hypertrophy training. Medium intensity, higher reps, higher sets. He's your white knight. Now both will increase strength. The bad boy more than the white knight. Now bad boy looks to increase top-end expression of strength. Now, if we've already said that men will always outstrip women in top-end intensity, basically he favours men and is a bit of a chauvinist. But remember, there's a white knight, a prince charming that can save the day for women. Hypertrophy training. What women lose in top-end intensity, they can make up for in intelligent variety and hypertrophy. Ask a guy how to get strong legs, and the vogue at the moment is squat. Anything else? Squat. Anything else? Deadlifts. And squat. Okay, we're not getting anywhere here. Unfortunately, as strength and strength gyms are male-dominated places, a lot of the women who hang out there have osmotically picked up that rhetoric. Yeah, you got women saying things like they don't pull sumo because it means they toss salads. Meanwhile, you got girls straining with heavy weights and bent backs and bowed over thoracics. Never underestimate people's repulsion to lettuce. You girls are probably thinking, why is that a problem? Guys are for bad form too. Yes, they do, and their time will come, my pretties, but they don't have wonderful bags of fun tiring out their posterior chain when they're not training. Well, most guys don't. You see, as a girl, if strength is all you want, and you're judging your strength by your 1 rep max, then you're playing by other people's rules in a game that nature's rigged. But if you remove yourself from some flawed race to a top number and look at something different like, let's say, the squat as a movement pattern, women often have an advantage there because their pelvis and femur and acetabular angles are better suited to deeper squatting with a more upright posture. But even there, they start loading up that bar, spurred on by the idea that they're pussies if they're not lifting heavy. Obviously, the iron is lost on them. It's a shame that in this Ghostbuster remake world, where we think men and women are just interchangeable, that we've lost the essential difference between men and women. You see, sexism isn't a problem because we treat men and women differently, because biologically they're different. Sexism, and any ism for that matter, is a problem because we ignore the difference and tend to just celebrate the good in one of the groups. Take ageism. It's a problem if we think old's bad and young's good. But the answer isn't to pull down young. The answer is to see the virtue in age while keeping young great too. Take racism. The problem is seeing one race as better than another. But the answer isn't to take down the favoured race, it's to see the virtue in all of the races. And here with sexism, the answer isn't to pretend that women can be just as strong as men because, well, we're all the same, or make men metaphorically weaker. The answer is to define men and women's strength in different ways. That way, both sexes can be strong, but they don't have to be strong in the same way. Picture this. If the Flash turned up to the 100-metre start line, Usain Bolt would rapidly become an also-ran. And if we started telling the kids that they could be as fast as metahumans and these two groups are equal because equal means the same, get ready for a lot of tears and confusion. But if we could all respect the difference in what being fast is for humans and the Flash, then Usain could stop trying to get hit by a lightning bolt and he could get back on his podium. And maybe Barry Allen could learn a thing or two on how to get faster from slower humans, like stop skipping leg day. But in ignoring the difference, both sides lose, because in this case specifically, men can actually learn a thing or two from women about lower body training, rather than women getting pulled into a man's world. Check out part 2 for a different way of looking at women's strength training that would also help men. Now, I love James, but I'm not that corny.